Me again do my double check in the background here and make sure it looks like we are live. Double check the feed. Should be live. It still says upcoming, but okay. I think, yes, it says live. So I can't see any live action, but that's probably because there's like really weird delay with this. Anyway, we will march ahead as though we are live and welcome everybody. If you are not catching this on Sunday afternoon, you're catching it some other time, welcome. So I had quite a few questions come in this week. I think we'll go over those. I will also, one thing I'd like to do is cover resumes and do a little bit of looking at different types of resumes and things. I think last week I mentioned that one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to try to incorporate, sort of one other person out there who's doing similar work, so that you could have other people to learn from as well. And so there's a list of people I have, but I'm going to try to highlight one every week. So we'll go over that as well in today's stream. So let's dive in. We will get started with, let's see, the first thing I wanted to do for you all was, sorry, I wanted to show you where you can find all of this. So I try to put up, new links every week, right, with where you can find. So if you go under here, the InfoSec 101, that's kind of like if you're kind of in the market for a job, right, in the field, that's probably where you will want to go. And in there, you'll see, I try to put up links and tips and things every week. So there's a person here who is giving away resume templates, and their name is Nicole. And we're going to go, they have a stream as well that I would like to point out. So they have resumes that, 4 resumes that you can download for free. And they're great resume samples. And you can download those for free. You just have to give an email address and sign up for the mailing list, which is fine. I mean, there's useful information there as well. And you can, of course, discontinue at any time. But while that's coming up, I will also point out that same person has a YouTube channel that I thought was also really, really helpful. I guess I don't have it in here, but you'll find it. You can look it up. It's on the website there. And I think I'm having issues with today with connectivity for some reason. So hopefully this clears up. But yeah, so you can also go to that page as well. So check that out. And also wanted to go over some of the questions that I got this week. So let's see. I have a bunch of questions here. I don't know if I'm having issues with the stream. I think the stream is, let me see if I can free up some bandwidth here. Hold on a second. Yeah, not sure if it's actually live or not. It's weird. Let me check on the other machine here. Let's see what's going on here. Sorry about this, but we've been having some issues at home with the Wi-Fi. So, yeah, it looks like it's okay. All right. So the other thing I want to do is go through some questions I had. I thought I had some really good questions this week that I wanted to try to address, especially with some of the upcoming conferences that are starting to happen in August. And so one of the questions was, the person was asking, I'd be interested in learning more about attending conferences. They mentioned that they're signed up for a B-Sides conference, but they're an introvert, total introvert, which hey, I am too, and that they were concerned, about networking, and I'll reach out in advance to people. I know I'm going, right. In this person's case, I think they're thinking about going. They're not sure they're going to go, but you know, you could even approach it that way. So I'll reach out to people in the industry that, you know, have been helpful to me. And the way that I approach it is, you know, I approach it from a standpoint of, you've been so incredibly helpful with, you know, what you've been doing and your work in the community, that I'd like to thank you. I'd like to take you out for, you know, a cup of coffee or, you know, a lunch. I try not to do dinners, and here's why. Because if the person is different in person and it's awkward and it's hard, you know, if you have to sit through a whole dinner with that kind of, it's not as easy to do. But if it's just a quick cup of coffee or a, you know, quick lunch, you know, in between your sessions during the conferences and things, it's sometimes even hard to grab a few minutes to sit down because the lines are so long. So, you know, I would approach it that way. You know, if you want to network with people, that's a good way to do it. Or maybe there's a talk in particular that you're interested in and you want to attend. You know, reach out to the author. They're just human beings. You know, they're not, you know, they're just human like we are. And yeah, some of them might be icons in the industry or whatever, but you know, you just want to thank them for the work that they're doing, and you're interested in the work, and you'd like to just chat with them for, you know, a cup of coffee and thank them for what they're doing. So I would offer that suggestion if you are an introvert, but yet you want to try to meet people and network a little bit while you're at these conferences. So that was one of the questions I got. The other one was kind of along a completely different line, is I'd be interested in hearing more about the onboarding process. Like when you get a job, you know, how long does it take for you to feel like you're comfortable? And, you know, I think that's different for everybody, of course, right? But I think for me, so I've worked at some really, really big companies, and then I've worked at some really small companies. And what's interesting is at the smaller companies, I have found that, you know, it can take some time, because I remember I started one company and the person before me, it was a very small company. The person working there before me, I was network administration, had kind of left it really just, it was completely in disarray. So I was managing 2 locations. I was responsible for all the connectivity, the firewall, the router, and all of that, switches. And it was literally just patched together with like chewing gum. It was really not good, and kind of left me, you know, with a mess on my hands. And so, you know, there was of course, no network diagrams. None of the machines were, there was no inventory on any of the machines. So, you know, I didn't have to, but I felt like I needed to do all of that. I am an organized person, and I couldn't work in, you know, not knowing what all my endpoints were and all of that. So that took a while to get up and running and to get familiar and to create that, you know, even before, like, you could start doing your actual job. Like, there was so much, like, you know, so many videos you had to watch, so much training you had to go through. And so, honestly, I never felt comfortable in my role for at least 6 months. Because there were so many tools, and it took so long to get access to those tools. And so, you know, that can be a factor as well. So, yeah, I relate to that. You know, the person had said that's one thing that they miss from coming from a career that they knew very well and were very comfortable with, having to deal with, losing your familiar, right? But yes, I have been there, and I understand that. And so I hope that's been helpful in answering that. And then I think that was all the questions. Let's see. One more thing about the onboarding and the tech. I think that varies. I think that varies from job to job too, depending on how much, you know, the company requires you to do for onboarding. So that can vary. So I hope that's been helpful. All right. So I wanted to introduce you to some of these resumes that this streamer Nicole does. And let me just pull these up. So Nicole Enesse. I hope I'm saying that right. And I could try to find the stream for you. I really should try to do that because I want you to, let's see. Let's just do real quick. I think she'll probably come right up. Oh, but the lag time. This is pretty bad up here. I don't get much of a signal up here in the owl's nest that I have up here. It's pretty bad. But anyway, so so she offers, again, with her mailing list, you sign up and you get 4 resumes as templates. And I thought these were really good. So there's 4 different versions. You have this one version. So let me see. There's one for 10 years plus experience. There's one for career pivoting. There's one for a home lab, which I'd like to with, and then one for if you've done some IT support. I think this is if you've done IT support, not trying to get a job in IT support, but we'll see. I haven't looked at these too closely. But let's look at the home lab because I've gotten several questions in the past about, a home lab and how do you put that experience on your resume. And so, I think this is a really great example that Nicole gives at that level. So, they put down, I think they use themselves sort of as an example. So they put down that they, got a BS from Western Governor University, and then under experience, the home lab, right? So you've got digital forensic analyst, GitHub, created a home lab, went through live, real life scenarios. I think this is a really great example that you can put on your resume. If you've been doing try Hack Me or Hack the Box or some of the, the port swigger challenges that we've talked about. And then, they put down that they were a cashier at Walmart, right? And then skills. We talked about the transferability of skills. We talked about that a long time ago in some of the earlier streams. Alyssa Miller does this series of videos on getting hired, and it's like a 30-day challenge, I think it was, on how to get hired, and how and they talk about how if you've had only skills like working like retail or Starbucks, and how you can transfer those on your resume, because they definitely are transferable skills. You need to be able to read the order that someone's giving you on a little ticket that comes through the Starbucks mobile, right? You need to be able to translate that. You need to be organized. You need to, right away, you need to see, okay, what size cup, right? And even if all you're doing is, because it's all printed out for you, right? But even if all you're doing is sticking it on the right size cup, that's a transferable skill. You're able to take a ticket, just like a ticket coming into a sim, and you're able to say, okay, how do I triage this? How do I move, and what are the actionable items from this ticket that I need to action? And so I thought those were, those were some skills that, that are listed here that are transferable. So I thought that was good. And then some of the other types of resumes. So this is the career pivoting resume, which would kind of be along that same line. So cybersecurity auditor with proven track record. So talks about some of the things. So, worked with HIPAA compliance, which is, in our industry is important, very important. Technical skills, certifications, and then talks more about the home lab. The formatting on this is a little off. I think, that's not her, that's me. That's probably the viewer that I'm using. But, you would want to bring over the present, I don't know, you'd have to work with it, right? It's a template. It's a template for you to work with. So I screwed it up, but you know what I'm saying. And then, goes into the different bullet points that you could list. I wouldn't use these, exactly, unless, maybe they fit you, that if it's that exact, right? They fit you. But, these are great templates that Nicole gives out. And then, let's see, the IT support. So this is the IT support, and Nicole talks about entry-level IT support specialist, recently completed the Google IT cert, and then goes into that, and then for professional experience lists, a dental lab assistant, right? So you're not hiding the fact that you don't have a ton of experience in the field. You're just saying, like, like, this is what I've done, and this this is where I want to be, and this is what I'm looking to do. And people can make their own judgments about that, right? And when you're in the interview process, you can answer honestly and say, I don't have a ton of real world experience, but I'm eager to learn. And it's kind of like that whole thing, that actors have, right? You can't get a guild card unless you're in the guild, or you can't, unless you've done like 2 guild, projects or something. But it's like a conundrum, right? You can't. You have to have the experience before you can get the card, but like you can't get the experience without the card. It's like this really crazy place to be, and so you have to make it work, right? So anyway, I'm probably not making any sense, and I don't even know if this is actually, the stream is probably wonky because of the connectivity issues today in the house. But I wasn't here today to troubleshoot, so I just kind of got home from a very long trip and then just turned everything on, and here we are. So I don't see people in the chat today, and so, and yeah, I hope I was, it's weird the way this works. Yeah, you can see, I'm still not used to it. So what you see on the screen is different than what I see back here. So, but yeah, you can, I was clicking the right things, so it's all good. So I think that's it. It's a short one today, and very short, and, I hope you've gotten something valuable from it. I'll probably keep doing it. I don't know if it's going to continue to be live, but I'll keep trying to put stuff together for you as I come across things in my day-to-day. And I hope everyone has a really great week this week ahead. Take care.